Hello, and welcome to Soothing Pod's Sleep Stories. My name is Arif, and I am going to tell you a wonderful story that will lull you into a peaceful and restful sleep. Today, we're going to journey to ancient Greece, where we will listen to the romantic, magical tale of Hades and Persephone's relationship. From strangers to rulers of the underworld. Before we begin, let us take a moment to find comfort, light, and peace in the space we are in. Close your eyes and turn your focus inward for a moment. Do you feel any tension in your body? Are any of your muscles tight or rigid? Take the time to acknowledge this tension and set it free. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold that breath. As you exhale, feel the tension melt away from your body. Relish in the instant relief and connection you have with yourself as you feel your muscles relax on the soft mattress underneath you. With every breath you take in, imagine a soft, warm light entering your body. Feel the warmth of your breath travel through your body ever so slowly. As it inches through you, imagine it like a thick, warm paint, coating every nerve, every muscle, every cell in a soothing balm. Take one more breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold that breath. As you begin to exhale now, feel the remnants of the day leaving your body until you are left with just this moment, here and now. Now that you have found comfort in the space you are in, let us begin. Long ago in ancient Greece, the gods were all powerful. They ruled over a land of magic and of beauty. Rolling hills ripe with olive trees stretched to the sea. Fields of barley and wheat swayed in the ever-present salty breeze. It was here that Demeter caught the eye of Zeus, the ruler of all the gods. Demeter was the goddess of the harvest and of agriculture. Her very existence allowed for the farmers to grow the freshest crops and for all the gods to enjoy the bounty of the land. Their love affair consisted of days traipsing through flower fields, eating the fresh peaches that grew on the beautiful land. They would lay in the soft grass for hours, speaking of the other gods, of the people and land they ruled over, even of their hopes for the future. Soon Demeter found herself pregnant. Zeus began to visit less and less, and this left Demeter with a hole in her heart and a distrust for the gods of the world. In late summer, laying in a farmer's field, she gave birth to a daughter. As she looked upon her beautiful baby girl, she felt the warmth of love overwhelm her. In that moment, she knew she would do whatever she could to protect her daughter from the greed of the other gods. Persephone grew up playing sunrise to sunset in the fields of Greece. She rolled in the sweet grass, climbed tall oak trees, and lounged in the warm sun. During the hot days of summer, she often found herself dozing off as the gentle, fragrant breeze caressed her face. Through her connection with the nature and her relationship with her mother, Persephone became one of the most kind-hearted girls in all of Greece. Daily, she would play with the forest nymphs and help them solve their problems. She would clean the land with them, till the land with them, and sit by them in the long hours of the night, tending to a fire and helping them care for their young. Persephone was even loved by the local farmers. Though her mother tried to keep her away, she often found herself helping the fathers tend to their fields of crop and their animals. Demeter loved her daughter dearly. She loved her daughter so much, in fact, that she greatly feared her daughter ever leaving home. She often worried about any of the other gods falling in love with her daughter and taking her away. Because of this, Demeter kept her daughter sheltered from the world. Persephone never spoke to the other gods, even as she grew into an adult. Persephone loved her mother dearly, but she knew she was missing something in the world. She longed to see new places, to feel emotions she had never felt before. Little did she know, beneath her feet, there was someone who had those exact same feelings. Deep in the ground, the god of the underworld, Hades, longed for love and friendship. He had been banished from Olympus, where the other gods spent most of their time. As years passed, Hades grew increasingly lonely. He often thought of holding a woman's hand, of laughing with her, of embracing her company. One day, this need for connection drove him above ground. He wandered through the forests of Greece, hoping to catch a glimpse of someone, anyone that could put an end to his loneliness and boredom. As he came into a beautiful olive grove, he heard a beautiful singing. In the center of the grove, Persephone danced and sang with the forest nymphs. She swayed and smiled in the sunshine, and each time she did, Hades felt a strong emotion wash over him, an emotion he had never felt before. He watched Persephone from the depths of the forest. Almost every day he would return and watch her. He was utterly entranced by the grace of her movements. Every time she laughed, she got a marvelous twinkle in her eye, and Hades felt his heart skip a beat in his chest. When she skipped and danced with the nymphs, there was nothing Hades could do to wipe the smile from his face. As the days passed and Hades' affection for the woman grew, he knew he couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to approach the beautiful woman. He wanted to get to know her. But that very day, Demeter arrived in the olive grove to bring her daughter home. Hades realized at once that the girl he was entranced by, the girl he was mystified by, was none other than Persephone. Even Hades knew getting close to Persephone would be impossible. Demeter protected her daughter with all she had, and there was no way she would let her daughter marry the god of the underworld. Hades returned to the underworld and tried to continue his daily routine. He walked through the red, mountainous caverns of the underworld alone. his thoughts constantly drifting back to Persephone singing and dancing in the sunlight. As days passed, Hades realized his feelings for Persephone were not diminishing. He could think only of her long braided hair. The music playing in his head was none other than Persephone's singing, echoing off the lush forest trees. He couldn't live without her by his side, desperate to be close to her yet again. Hades traveled to visit with Zeus. "I have fallen in love with your daughter, Zeus. I long to have her hand in marriage. I long to have her rule the underworld by my side," Hades told him, his voice overwhelmed with emotion. Zeus thought over this decision for a long moment. Though he rarely saw his daughter, he knew her to be the most kind, the most tender out of all of his children. Hades was a wealthy god, a god of immense power, and he seemed to be a safe fit for his beloved Persephone. "You may marry Persephone, but I must warn you, Hades. Her mother will not let her go willingly," Zeus replied, smiling at the lovesick Hades. Hades understood that bringing Persephone to his home would be a challenge, so he returned to the underworld to ready his things. The next day, Persephone returned to her familiar olive tree grove. As she walked to the nymphs, she felt the ground rumble underneath her. The ground split below her feet. For a moment, everything moved in slow motion. Hades, in a black chariot, reached over and scooped her in his arms. Before Persephone could even blink, the chariot disappeared beneath the earth. When she opened her eyes, she was in a brilliant throne room. Tall, amber walls of stone and gemstone lined the walls of the cavern. Fire illuminated the room in a warm glow, even though she was hundreds of miles below the earth. Persephone was so transfixed on the beautiful room around her, it took her a moment to realize what had truly happened. She felt Hades' arms cradling her against his chest. She felt the blood rush to her face. She had never been touched by another person before. Hades helped her to her feet in the center of the throne room. "You're Hades," Persephone chimed as she gazed at him for the first time. He was tall, with dark, chiseled features and a warm gaze. She couldn't help but notice the god of the underworld had a compassionate gleam in his eye. "You're Persephone," Hades responded in an earthy, deep voice. Persephone asked Hades why he had spirited her away from her home. Hades apologized to her, a heaviness weighing in his voice. "I wanted to have your hand in marriage, Persephone. I admire your kindness, your tenderness, your beauty. I knew your mother would never allow us to be together," Hades replied to Persephone. For the first time since she arrived, Persephone thought of her mother. She dreamt of the land up above, of the kind gaze of her mother, of the world she was leaving behind by simply being down here, and it brought her great sorrow. Sensing her sorrow, Hades showed Persephone to the bath. He ran the hot water for her, filling the basin with wildflowers from around the world. He brought her the finest silks, the finest towels, and the finest musicians in the world. Hades left Persephone to think over her situation. As she sat in the hot, steaming water, she felt her tension melting away. She had never lived in luxury like this. Though Hades had spirited her away, he was showing her a type of kindness she never expected. Though, deep down, she knew her mother was above, on the surface, searching for her. Once she finished her bath, Persephone returned to the throne room. In the center of the room sat Hades' throne. Besides that, there was a brand new throne. The throne was made of a beautiful silver that glistened in the flames. The entire throne was covered in beautiful, intricate carvings of vines, flowers, and trees, all reminiscent of the world Persephone had come from. Hades told Persephone the throne was hers. He didn't want Persephone as a servant, as a mother, as a caretaker, like the other gods wanted. He wanted her as an equal, a partner that would rule the underworld by his side and join him in his joys, his sorrows, and his laughter. Persephone felt her whole body relax as a warm comfort washed over her. Hades offered his hand to her. She placed her soft hand in his. Just his touch alone made her feel safe and important. Led by Hades' hand and encouraging gaze, Persephone took a seat on the throne beside Hades. At first, she hadn't been certain about him, but there was a kindness in his eyes, an overwhelming compassion she couldn't ignore. She felt for the first time as if someone was seeing her, truly seeing her as she was. Her mother had only coddled her and longed for her protection. It was as though her whole life she was her mother's doll to protect and care for. Persephone's days in the underworld slowly became magical. She spent her hours by Hades' side, discussing life above ground and the life of the gods. Every time Hades spoke, she felt as though there was a light glowing inside of her. The two often found themselves walking the grounds hand in hand. All hours of the day and night, they basked in the company of one another. The loneliness Hades had felt melted away every time he looked at Persephone. She had slowly become the long, sought-after light in his life. Around her, he truly felt like himself for the first time in centuries. As time passed, Persephone learned the way of the underworld. Hades was not a cruel, unjust leader of the dead. He treated the souls in his care with kindness. However, Persephone didn't like the darkness and labor that many of the souls had to take part in. Persephone proposed a new land to Hades, a kingdom where those who were just would live in the underworld without harsh labor or punishments. Hades saw how much the idea meant to Persephone. During the night time, Hades worked on creating the land that Persephone had proposed. It slowly grew from a patch of dirt and stone into something that was beyond her wildest imagination. It was a city of sleek gates, bubbling fountains, and stunning stone buildings. He filled the streets with flowers and plants that would remind Persephone of her home. Hades led Persephone to the new land. He covered her eyes with his hands and walked her gently to the center of the city, where he revealed it to her. Persephone looked around in wonder, her eyes rimmed with tears. "It's called Elysium," Hades chimed. Beside him, Persephone beamed with wonder as she walked the cobblestone streets and brushed her hands against the flowers. "Won't the flowers die without any sunlight?" Persephone asked. She leaned down to breathe in the sweet scent of the tulips. Hades placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Not with you here," he replied, smiling down at her. "But there is something else I should show you." Hades took Persephone by the hand. The two walked down a winding path in the underworld. They strolled under dark waterfalls and through rolling fields until they reached a small cobblestone path. At the end of the path, tucked back into the shadows, there was an intricate iron fence. Hades let go of Persephone's hand and urged her forward. Her fingers danced on the handle of the fence. What would be on the other side? With one small flick of her wrist, the gate opened, revealing a paradise she had no idea existed. She found herself in the greenest garden she had ever encountered. As far as the eye could see, there were beautifully trimmed hedges, patches of wildflowers, cherry blossom trees, and orchards. A single red cobblestone path wound through the lush garden. Persephone felt tears sting her eyes. She had never seen something so beautiful. Hades rubbed her back, comforting her. He told Persephone that the garden was hers. He wanted this place to feel like home for her, and he felt as though this could be a place for her to escape and relax. Persephone turned to Hades and wrapped her arms around him. For a moment, their hearts beat as one as she buried her face in his chest. For the next few days, Persephone found herself in the garden often. She skipped down the cobblestone path, relaxing as a cool breeze rushed over her body. Almost every day, she would wander into the orchard. She laid down in the grass and looked up at the sky through the pomegranate trees. The heavy red fruit swayed on the branches, dancing just above her head. She wanted nothing more than to reach up and crack one of the juicy pieces of fruit open. She could practically feel the juice running over her tongue. She could practically taste the sugary sweet tang of it. But she knew she couldn't eat the fruit. In the underworld, if something is eaten, you're not able to leave. Persephone toyed with the blades of grass by her head. She missed home dearly. She missed her mother. But she had so much more freedom here. When she thought of Hades, she found herself smiling. His kindness and respect towards her were enough to make her stay. One day, the gardener discovered her laying in the grass. He kindly offered Persephone a pomegranate and placed it in her hand. She could feel the hunger rising within her. She hadn't eaten in weeks and was beginning to feel a bit faint. She split the pomegranate open and placed 6 seeds on her tongue. The sweetness of the seeds overwhelmed her senses in the most wonderful way. When she opened her eyes, there was another god standing before her. Hermes, the messenger god, tapped his foot impatiently as he looked down at her. He told Persephone that her mother knew what had happened to her. Demeter was so overtaken by grief that she had frozen all the land. No crops would grow. Farms across the earth were crumbling, and people were growing hungry. Persephone loved her home in the underworld. She loved Hades, but she knew she could not let the people on earth be harmed. Reluctantly, she agreed to journey to Olympus with Hermes to solve this matter once and for all. Persephone blinked, and she found herself in the clouds of Olympus. The entire kingdom glowed with an ethereal light. Pure clouds drifted through the open-air colosseums and over the massive marble staircases. At the throne of Olympus, Zeus and Demeter were in the midst of an argument. Upon seeing her daughter, Demeter rushed to her side, taking Persephone in her arms. "Are you okay? We will get you away from that cruel man. We will get you back home," Demeter snapped, hugging her daughter against her chest. "Mother, I'm fine. I don't want to leave Hades. He's a kind, gentle, loving man, and I've grown to adore him," Persephone assured her mother. But Demeter didn't take the time to listen to her daughter. She told Zeus and Persephone that unless Persephone came back to Earth with her, the world would die of a famine. Persephone could feel the tears begin to sting her eyes. She longed to see her beloved Hades. For the first time, she felt the immense love she had developed for him begin to truly affect her. "But mother, I need you to hear my words. I love Hades. I have fallen in love with the king of the underworld." The desperation and desire in Persephone's voice echoed through the atrium. A flash of smoke appeared just in front of Persephone. Hades gazed down at her, a smile on his face. "Demeter, I have fallen in love with your daughter. I've been in love with her since I first laid eyes on her. I will treat her with kindness and dignity and love. She will rule by my side if she so chooses," Hades said. He reached out gently, placing his hand on Persephone's flushed cheek. Demeter disagreed with Hades, repeated that she would destroy the world without her daughter by her side. "But she has to stay in the underworld with me, Demeter. She ate the seeds of a pomegranate," Hades announced as he lifted the pomegranate into the air. Ripples of shock coursed through the room. Zeus asked how many seeds Persephone had eaten. When she told him she had eaten 6, the spark of an idea shone on Zeus's face. "Since Persephone has eaten 6 seeds, it seems fair that she shall spend 6 months of the year in the underworld with her husband, and 6 above with her mother, where she will tend to the earth." Zeus's voice boomed through the room. Persephone sighed with relief. She blinked and was back in the underworld, in the arms of her husband. For the next 6 months, the two spent every moment together. They spoke of their plans for the underworld and for their life together. Persephone truly ruled by his side, making all the decisions that any of the powerful gods would. The two glowed in the love and respect they had for one another. By each other's side, they were whole. As spring crept around the corner, however, Persephone had to prepare for her journey back to Earth. Every spring and summer, she worked the land with her mother on Earth. She would run with the forest nymphs and help the farmers, just as she had as a child. Every time she was above ground, she missed Hades dearly. She had never known you could love a person so deeply, so fully. Every morning when she walked into the olive grove, there would be a single pomegranate waiting for her. a beautiful gift from her beloved husband, reminding her that his love followed her wherever she went. As the years progressed, the arrangement became a joy for everyone. Persephone enjoyed her time with her mother and looked forward to returning and seeing her husband. Every time she was reunited with Hades, the two would lay in their own garden for hours, discussing the past few months. They would tell stories through the night, curled up in each other's arms, dreaming of all the time ahead of them that would be spent together. I hope you found some comfort and relaxation in this story. If you'd like to hear another story, please feel free to join me again tomorrow night. Until then, sweet dreams.